Welcome to the Track Our Money Show. If you're ever curious about other people's finances, then stick around because in this video, I'll show you exactly how my wife and I handle our finances. I'll show you all of our real numbers, so if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit that like button. While I'm getting the template set up, I'll give you a little bit of background about ourselves and why I decided to share our finances on YouTube, in case you're coming across this channel for the first time. As I just said, we'll cover how much my wife and I bring in and how much we spend. We will also see how much we save in our various sinking funds, and I'll also give you a little bit of context of what we're saving for. I'll also show you how much we invest, whether it's in our 401k, our IRA, or our brokerage account. As always, we'll be showing you our real numbers, so I won't be turning the camera on myself. Now, you might be asking yourself, Tom, why do you make these videos? First, I think there's a huge benefit to knowing your money. I think the biggest step to grasping your own finances is knowing what you're working with and how much is coming in and how much is going out. People have their own style that works for them, so whether it's using all cash or writing down every expense, I'll show you what my wife and I do. Second, personal finance is a subject that people generally do not talk about or discuss, so I want to show others how we handle our finances and encourage others to start their own spreadsheet. If you are interested in getting a copy of this spreadsheet for yourself, then drop a comment below and I can email you a copy. Third, these videos hold us accountable with our money. As I mentioned before, these are our real numbers. I'm not going to be hiding anything. I'll try to include screenshots where I can, but I'm not good enough at editing videos to be able to blur my screen while I log in and gather all these numbers for you. As I said, we'll see all the real numbers, the good, the bad, and everything in between. I also enjoy hearing about other people's journey, so let me know how your August went down below in the comments. Before we jump into the spreadsheet, I want to give any new viewers a little bit of background about my wife and I, so you can get the full picture of our numbers. My wife and I are in our early 30s. We have worked in our industries for about 5 or 6 years. My wife is in marketing while I'm in finance. We are the ones doing the grunt work, so we're not in any manager positions, and according to Glassdoor and other similar sites around the internet, I would say we are around the average salary for our position. We have a combined salary of about $135,000. And as I mentioned before, these videos are anonymous, so I won't tell you exactly where we live, but I will say that my wife and I live in a medium cost of living area that is just above the national average according to the internet. Alright, with that out of the way, let's jump into the spreadsheet. We had 4 paychecks in the month of August. We got paid for the amounts of $1,520, $2,028, $1,777, and $2,028. These amounts are after all insurance, deductions, 401k contributions. This is what actually hit our checking account. So for the month of August, you can see that we brought in $7,352. Alright, now let's check out our expenses. Our mortgage payment was $1,614. As you can see, this is about $20 over what we had been paying every month. This new amount reflects the changes to our taxes and our insurance. This amount includes all principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. We do not have PMI since we put 20% down when we bought our house, and currently we're making the minimum payment since we have a pretty low interest rate. Along with the mortgage, we paid $135 for water, trash, and waste. This is slightly over our year-to-date average by about $25. This is to be expected since we're probably running our sprinklers a little more since it's in the middle of summer. For groceries, we spent $497. This is for 2 people to eat at home pretty much 6 days a week since we only eat out about once a week. Additionally, this includes any alcohol and other non-grocery items like soap, shampoo, toilet paper, just all of those other items. This month is nearly $90 over our year-to-date average of what we have been spending. As you'll see later when we look at our credit card, we had a Costco run at the end of the month, so that always pushes up our grocery bill too. For electricity, we spent $145. We're in the middle of summer, so I have no idea why this is below our year-to-date average. I know one weekend we were out of town, but I don't think it should swing the numbers that much. Either way, I'm not going to question this being below our average. For internet, we spent our usual $80. We only have one provider in our area that offers decent internet, so we don't really have much competition here. For our cell phone, we spent our $139. This is for 2 cell phones with unlimited data. For insurance, we made our usual transfer of $150. This is how much we transfer each month into a savings account since we pay our insurance 6 months at a time. So these monthly transfers let us save up for whenever that premium becomes due. I got an email from our insurance provider, and it seems like our policy will be up in September, and it seems like our rate has gone up again. I'm going to wait to shop around since we'll probably be buying a new car sometime before the end of the year. I'll wait until we have that new vehicle so we can compare rates for what we will have in the long term instead of basing the rates on the cars that we're going to have only for a few more months. For gas, we filled up our gas tanks 3 times for a total of $113. I had to double check the credit card statement because I didn't believe this number since we drove several hundred miles out of state when we took our weekend trip. For our miscellaneous expenses, I will scroll over to our credit card transactions that I have copied in from the website. And as always, I made a little pivot table to help summarize the data. But as always, I will give you a quick scroll through. As you can see, we took a little trip this month. The first weekend of August, we took a trip out of state. Now, if you caught last month's video, you'll know that we put away $400 into travel for this trip. And as you can see, in total, we spent right at $419. This was for the hotel, food, activities, and one fuel up on the way. Some other big ticket items that you'll see in our miscellaneous are for furniture that we purchased for our house. We spent about $1,200 in total for all of these items, and once we get a little further down in the spreadsheet, you'll see that we've been putting money away every month for our furniture, so this was all planned for. Other than the travel and the furniture, we had a pretty quiet month, and we spent $62.78 on eating out and other items. But if we are including the travel and the furniture, we spent a total of $1,649. For fun money, we did our usual $800. This is the money that each of us gets every month to do with whatever we would like with no questions asked. It just helps us to spend on our hobbies or on ourselves without question. So both my wife and I get $400 per month to do with whatever we want. For the purposes of this spreadsheet, we do not track that money besides this line item right here. While I usually don't share what we spend in this category, I will say that I started doing some fun investing on the side, and I have been throwing some money into some crypto. It's not a lot of money, but I'd be okay if I never saw it again. It's just dipping my toes in the crypto. Now that we have all of our expenses for the month entered, you can see that over here off to the side, I have some conditional formatting set up. So anything more than $5 in our year-to-date average is going to spit out a red number, so that you can see that we did go over in a few categories. Our mortgage I'm not too worried about since the $1,614 is going to be our new amount going forward. Our water bill going up is because we're in the middle of summer. I already touched on the groceries and why I think it was a bit higher than our normal spending, but other than that, the miscellaneous is really the only other item we went over. But when we spent $1,200 on furniture and $400 on travel, that's kind of expected to be over. I think without that, we were way under. So in total, you can see that for the month of August, we spent $5,322. So with our income of $7,352, we had a surplus of just over $2,000 for the month of August. All right, now let's jump into our savings and our checking account. After all of our income and expenses that we saw and accounting for any transfers that we'll see in the next few minutes, our checking account stands at $8,048. We always keep a $5,000 buffer, so anything above the buffer is just to help cover our mortgage and our credit card balance at the beginning of the month. As you saw, we spent $1,200 on furniture and stuff for around the house, so we transferred that out of this account, but we also threw in $750 into the account. So a net of $450 came out of the account in August, and this account stands at $18,983 at the end of the month. For house maintenance, we threw another $200 into this account, and this account stands at $1,271. We threw $200 into our emergency fund, so that account stands at $11,870. The reason why I don't show a screenshot for the emergency fund is because this amount is a combination of a few amounts that are in different places. We have most of it in our Ally savings account, but some of this is also in government bonds, and honestly, I just hate logging into that account. For insurance, we threw our usual $150 into this account to cover the 6-month premium when that becomes due, which is actually next month. And like I mentioned earlier, the company sent me the bill, and it seems like our insurance went up a little bit, so I might have to adjust this from $150 per month to $165 or maybe $170 to account for the new rate. In addition to the insurance, we also threw $100 into our car maintenance account. So in total, our car insurance bucket has $880 in it, while the car maintenance account has $850 in it. So earlier you saw when we were looking at our credit card transactions, we spent $420 on a trip, so we transferred that money out of this account. We also threw another $600 into this account. We might be taking one more trip at the end of this year, maybe pushed into next year, we'll see. So we're also saving towards that. In total, our travel fund stands at $4,520. For our sinking fund, we threw $600 into the car fund, and we also threw $150 towards a new bucket for Christmas. Christmas is only 4 months away, so each month going forward, we'll probably be throwing a little bit of money into that account. Our biggest account is our car fund, and that bucket has $16,600 in it. We will most likely be buying a car before the end of the year, so we've been putting quite a bit of money into this account, so hopefully when we do make our purchase, we will have a car that's nearly paid off from the start. We also have a sinking fund that has $1,700 set aside for our laptop/cell phone bucket. Currently, the laptop that I'm using to put these videos together is over 10 years old. This laptop struggles with the editing and the recording of these videos, but it just keeps going, so maybe we'll see if we have a good Black Friday deal. We might replace it then. Like I said earlier, we threw $150 towards Christmas, and we had a little bit of extra last month, so we got $300 set aside for Christmas so far. As far as the other buckets go, I won't be getting too much into those since those are just some of the things that we're saving for. Altogether, you can see across these sinking funds, we have a total of $19,652 in these various sinking funds. And altogether across our various savings accounts, we have a total of over $66,000 spread across these accounts. All right, now let's jump into our investments. We threw a total of $792 into our first 401k, and our employer matched a total of $370 for a total of $1,162 going into our first 401k. And this account stands at $126,878. For our second 401k account, we threw a total of $692 into this account, and our employer matched $288 for a total of $981 going into our second 401k account. And this account stands at $25,642. For both of our 401k accounts, we are contributing more than our employer match. And while we might not be maxing out these accounts, we are still comfortable with our contribution rates, which I think we are both doing around 13%. For anyone watching this, I always suggest doing as much as you can afford to do and bump your 401k up each year or anytime that you get a raise. It has taken my wife and I several years to get to this level, but if we can do it, anyone can. For our IRAs, we threw $500 into these accounts, and the first one ended the month at $61,632, while the second one ended at $59,579. Just like our 401ks, we have slowly ramped up our contributions as we have made more money over the years. I remember when I opened my first IRA probably 10 years ago, I was only able to contribute maybe $100 a month at a time. I just wanted to point that out to anyone that's watching these videos that might be a little bit intimidated to start investing. The biggest thing you can do is just to start with whatever amount you can. For our HSA, we threw a total of $287 into this account, and it stands at $21,143. I want to point out that we use this account for an investment account instead of for health-related reasons. If we ever go to the doctor, we try to pay out of pocket instead of dipping into this account. And actually, one of the sinking funds that I did not get into earlier was us putting money away for some glasses and contacts whenever we go to the eye doctor next time, since that's a pretty hefty expense. And instead of taking it out of this HSA account, we're just going to save for it and try to cash flow it. For our brokerage account, we did not throw any money into this account, and this account stands at $37,814. And you can see that since we did not contribute anything to this account, the difference from last month is 100% growth. So as you can see, August was a good month in the market, and while we did contribute $3,400 of our own money, in total these accounts grew by nearly $13,000 to a total of $332,688. Alright, now let's take a look at our assets and our debt. For our home value, I always try to be conservative in these spreadsheets and not adjust our home value to be too high, since there are a lot of costs associated with actually selling a house. I would much rather track this account below what our home would sell for, Just to show you, Zillow is showing that our house is worth over $350,000. And I know that might not be the best estimate, but Redfin is also showing that our house is worth $337,000. While these numbers are exciting and a little bit unbelievable at the same time, I will always be conservative and carry a value of $306,000 for our house. This is the value of our home plus 2% bumped up to inflation. And speaking of our home, with our mortgage payment, our loan is outstanding at $235,216. Just under $400 of our mortgage payment is actually going towards our principal. Like I said earlier, we don't have PMI on our loan, so the rest of our payment is going towards taxes, insurance, and interest. As you can see, with all of our info entered for the month, we come to a net worth of $469,545,000. This is $13,000 higher than where we were last month, and this is a new high for us. And as you can see, our net worth has continued to grow over the past 12 months, and our net worth has increased over $150,000 over where we were just 12 months ago. I always like to show our progress because while my wife and we do not max out our retirement accounts, I like to show that investing is not about hitting the home run on some random stock. We stick to boring index funds and let the market do the work for us. As always, everyone watching this is going to be at a different point in their journey. Whether you are ahead of us or just starting your journey, I just want to say that my wife and we don't do everything right. We don't max out our retirement accounts. But I just want to show this step in our journey to show that slow and steady wins the race. It has taken my wife and I years to get to where we are now, and we still have a long way to go, but hopefully sharing this step in our journey will help to encourage others to start tracking their own finances and continue to invest. If you enjoy content like this and seeing how I track our finances, please hit that like button below and comment with any questions you might have. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.